Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. New and returning subscribers, welcome. If you know you've not subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe and turn on the post notification bell so you could see whenever I post a new video. My name is Sonia Hansen and I'm so happy to have you here. Today we are going to be learning how to make this beautiful crisscross neckline. Thank you and welcome to the tutorials.
Gonna end it tonight. Something toxic holding under me for dear life.
So guys, we're going to be making use of 2.5 yards of African prints. We're going to be using the marker, the paper, the French curves, the rulers, and chalk and scissors. So let's go ahead and make this dress. For the sake of this tutorial, we're going to be folding the paper into two for the front bodice. So after folding the paper into two, the next thing we are going to be doing is to mark a straight line of about 1 inch across the top side of the paper. Guys, when I was done, I connected the 1 inch points that marked across with my straight ruler, and I went ahead to start marking my vertical lines. The first vertical line I'm going to mark in is my shoulder to breast point, which is 12.5 inches, and then from there I'm going to mark my shoulder to half length measurement, which is 17 inches. I'm going to mark dotted lines, and then I'll go ahead to mark it across. Then I'll connect them with my straight ruler, just as I'm doing it. Up next, I went to mark my shoulder measurement. I divided it by 2. 16 divided by 2 gave me 8 inches, and I marked the 8 inches that I got. After marking that 8 inches over there, I went ahead to come down with 1 inches. At that point, I marked 8 inches for my shoulder slope. Went ahead to get my armhole depth. I did it by dividing my bust measurement by 4. I got 7 inches, and I added half inches allowance. That's 7.5 inches. Then I went ahead to extend the line there straight, and then I'm going to that place I marked 8 inches, and I also went to mark a straight line. Before I did, I also confirmed 8 inches so that I can get a very straight line, and then I connected all the lines together like that. Up next is to mark the neckline. I'm going to be using 4 inches by 4 inches. I'm going to be making a round neckline like that. So I'm marking 4 right here, and then I'm also coming down like that. I'm marking 4 inches, and then after doing that, I'm going to create a curve like that at the neckline with my free hand. At this point, I'm going to be joining my armhole slants. That 1 inch I came down there with, I'm going to connect it with the shoulder line with the neckline that I just finished drawing, and then I'm going to go ahead after that to my armhole line, and then I'm going to find the midpoint of 7.5. I'm folding my tape to get it. Then I'll go from that place I marked 7.5. I'll mark that midpoint that I got after folding my tape. Then I'll come in from that place I marked by half inch, and then I'll pick up my French curve and then connect the line. I'm going to connect that half inch I came in with that L, that shape there. I'm going to connect it like that with my marker, and then I'll go up from that point that I marked, just where I'm pointing there. I'm going to also join it in a curved line with my curved ruler, just like that. So that's how I achieved my armhole curve. When I was done, I went ahead to determine my bust span, which is my dart line. It's 10 inches, so I divided it by 2 to give me 5 inches, and I marked 5 inches on that breast point line, and I'm marking it now on my half length line, just like that. So when I was done, I went ahead to pick my ruler, my straight ruler, and then connected the line just the way I'm doing it right now. Also, I went ahead to mark my bust tightening. I came down from the breast point by 2 inches at that end over there. I marked 2 inches down there, and then I picked up my ruler and I connected the line just like that. The whole point is to connect that 2 inches line to that breast point line where we marked the 5 inches, where that 5 inches touches at the top there like that. And then the next part I'm going to be marking is my bust measurement. I'm going to divide my bust measurement by 4 and I'm going to add 2 inches allowance. And I'll go ahead, the armhole side, I'm going to mark whatever thing I got plus my 2 inches allowance. I'm going ahead to mark my waist measurement. That's my waist measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches. So guys, at this point I went ahead to start cutting out what I've already drafted, just like that. When I was done drafting, I went ahead to open up the pattern like this because we need the pattern open in order to draft our crisscross neckline. So I'm going to extend from that place, from that midpoint, that line which was 10 inches that I divided by 2. I'm going to just go and add the remaining 5 inches there, and then I'm going to use my marker and mark it like that. Then I'm going to connect the lines down there. Then I'm also going to extend the other line there. Going to extend this line, the breast point line that I already drew previously. So just as I did the other place, I'm also going to come down from the breast point line by 2 inches, and then I'm going to extend it with my ruler to touch that 5 inches that I marked there. At this point, we start marking our crisscross neckline. So now from this place, I'm trying to determine how open exposed I want my armhole to be at that crisscross side. So I'm going to mark 8.5, so you can try to come out deeper. Then I also came down here, but I was trying to regulate the neck. I don't want my bust, I don't want to have this suffocating feeling, even though I've used 4 inches to come down. But later on I found out that it's not going to blend in because I was still trying my best to make sure I don't suffocate. So now I'm going to join this line now with my curved ruler, the 8 inches. I'm going to try to connect with my curved ruler to the neckline. Like I said, see, that thing I marked there did not work. I was still trying to bring the neck down a bit. So we're going to stick to our 4 by 4 inches. So I started coming up little by little to see how to blend it in with my neckline, which is what is most important. So now I had to tilt my ruler a bit towards the neckline like this, like how I'm doing it now, in order for it to meet up with the neckline. And I found out that if I do that, it's going to be too sharp. So I now had to just forget about that point I marked there totally, and then I curved it the way I'm doing right now to get a perfect curve, because I don't want any funny looking shape down there. So yes, so now the next thing I'm going to do is to determine how wide I want my shoulders to be, the shoulder joining to be. I don't want it too wide and too thin, so I'm going to be using 3 inches. I'm going to mark 3 inches down there. So I went to draw my straight line across this bodice to demarcate the midpoint. I'm taking my tape to the midpoint I just marked now. From that line that curved line I drew up there, I'm coming down with 3 inches, just as I did the shoulder line, and then I'm going to use my curved ruler to join it down there, just the way I'm doing it right now. Now I'll go ahead and pick up my scissors and start cutting off the parts I wouldn't be needing anymore. Having done that, I'll just go ahead and do my dart transfer. I'm going to be transferring my bust darts. So guys, at this point I am done with the front part of the crisscross, and I'm going to show you how I cut it. I'm going to cut it with allowance round, half-inch allowance round, and I'm going to show you how I placed it. So here's the fabric and here is me trying to place it. Up next, guys, we're going to be drafting the back bodice. I'm going to start by marking the zipper allowance. I marked 1.5 inch across from up to down, and then my half length of this back is 15 inches, is 2 inches shorter than the front. So I went ahead to mark my 15 inches across just as I'm doing right now, and then after doing that I made sure I dragged it on a straight line. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to mark my shoulder. After marking my shoulder, I came down 1 inch slope, and then I'm going to mark my armhole measurement. We use 7.5, remember, in the front bodice, and then I'm going to use my straight ruler to connect it like that. And then I'm going to extend the line just like I did in the front, just like that. And then I will now go ahead and mark. You remember we used 4x4 in front. Here we're going to be using 6 inches. I decided I want the back to be deep. The back depth, I want it to be deep, so I used 4x6 inches. You can decide to use whatever thing you want for the back. It depends on how you want the back to look. So now I used 6, then I curved it like that with my free hand, just the way I'm doing it, and I extended it to the zipper allowance. So I'm taking my straight ruler to connect the 1 inch shoulder slope that I marked there, and after doing that I'm going to mark the 3 inches. Remember we marked 3 inches as our how wide we want the shoulder to be in the front, so I just went ahead. I also marked 3 inches there. So I'm going to now connect with my armhole curve ruler to that 3 inches, connect it straight to the armhole like that, because that's now a new shoulder line, mind you. So now after doing that, I'm going to go ahead and mark my bust points. Remember we divided our bust by 4, and then we added 2 inches allowance, and I'm going to also do the same thing for the waist divided by 4 plus 2 inches allowance. Please take note. So guys, in a bit to eliminate the curves that used to be at the back, I'm going to come up by that zipper allowance by 1 inch there, right there, 1 inch, and I'm going to also come in by 1 inch just as I'm doing right there. So now after coming in by 1 inch and coming up by 1 inch, I'm going to take up my curved ruler, and then I'm going to connect it just the way I'm doing it to the original line down there at the waistline. I'm going to curve it like so with my curved ruler. So like I said, I'm going to come in by 1 inch. When I do that, I'm going to mark it down there, and then I'll pick up my ruler, and then I'm going to connect it in a slant, and then I'll now go back and return that 1 inch I took from there. I'll go to the other end and return it. See what I'm doing there? I went to the other end and I returned the 1 inch there. So this, I'm just showing you that I'm not totally eliminating the 1 inch. I'm just replacing it. So I'm going to the other end now, the edge there. I'm going to replace the 1 inch that I took from the zipper allowance. That what I'm trying to do is just eliminate zipper bulge. So I'm going to connect it, and then I'll now go ahead and cut out the parts that we are not going to be needing. Thank you so much for coming this far. I do not take it for granted. Please, if you know you've not subscribed, please subscribe, like, share, and turn on your post notification bell so that when next I post a video you could see it. Thank you so much for coming this far. Like I said, God bless you.
When I was done, this is what it looks like, and I'm going to just show you how it's going to be placed. I'm going to be placing it. Like I said, I took 1/2 inch allowance around the front, so if you can notice it, there's a lot of allowance around. Please don't cut it exactly the way you cut it. So now I'm going to just this, I'm placing the front pattern against the back for you to see how it's going to be like arranged. And yeah, see you in my next video.